My name is Danny Banchev. I'm the founder of the Off Corn Academy, and I used to struggle with corn addiction for 10 years. At the peak of it, I was jerking off to corn on average 5 times per day. Looking back at it now, after being off corn for periods of more than a year in a row, abstaining from masturbation for months, and even being on semen retention, meaning no ejaculation whatsoever for weeks in a row, I never thought I would say this, but I'm grateful for the struggle. See, addiction recovery is the most magnificent process a human being could ever go through. And I get to witness it every single day of my life. It's truly a gift. But its packaging is so horrible, most people never get to experience that truth. So my hope today is to transfer that perspective to you. This video is going to be separated in 2 different sections. Number 1, we're going to cover the 5 reasons why corn addiction is actually a gift. And number 2, we're going to cover 3 steps on how to turn that curse into a blessing. In other words, how to quit corn for good. By the way, before we dive in, I just want to make sure you know that I'm literally about to give you all the information and action steps you need to solve that problem by yourself. You absolutely do not need to give me any money, buy my courses, or my coaching program. However, it's also just general information. So if you still want to save some extra time and get personal help from me so that we can solve that problem faster and adapt it to your unique situation, then you can schedule a completely free discovery call with me. It's 100% confidential and there are no commitments involved. All right, let's jump in. So here are 5 reasons why addiction is a gift. Number 1, the comeback story effect. Think about it this way. Would you watch a movie where the character is happy from beginning to the end, never facing any problems whatsoever? No enemies to face, no problems to solve, just pure joy and happiness. Of course you wouldn't. That shit would be boring as fuck. So why do you wish for a life without problems? The most popular narrative throughout history, if you look at the stories in the Bible, you look at The Matrix, you look at Harry Potter, all of them, they all have a common pattern. It's called the hero's journey. Tell me what's the most exciting and inspirational part of all of these stories. It's when the hero finally wins after losing for so long. It's when he finally finds that place within where he's like, whatever it takes, I'm gonna fucking win that battle. And you just see him take over the enemy and everybody gets excited and you get emotional. That's the comeback story. And guess why these stories are always the most popular? Because they're a direct reflection of the human psyche. We cannot appreciate victory if we've never been defeated. We cannot appreciate freedom if we've never been stuck. Growth and contribution and overcoming challenges and problems is what makes life worth living. And talking about contribution, here's reason number 2, purpose. I have never heard of someone breaking free from addiction without having the slightest little desire to serve others who are still struggling with the issue. It's literally some kind of unwritten rule in the addiction recovery community. And actually, the law of the second mountain states that there's a limit to the amount of joy and love and happiness you can experience by yourself. So the absolute beauty of contribution, serving others, is that you get to experience that joy of liberation over and over again. It's unlimited. There's no ceiling. By the way, what I always tell my clients is that sustainable recovery is literally impossible on the long term without some sort of contribution, without some sort of purpose and service as a man. That literally means that the gift of contribution is an inevitable part of the recovery journey. What a beautiful way to set it up if you were God. All right, reason number 3, discipline and self-awareness. Tell me, can you find one person in the recovery community who's never had to develop these 2 skills? Good. So next question. Can you find even one valuable goal in life that's worth pursuing that doesn't require these 2 skills? Exactly. Again, it's almost as if God knew what it was doing. I always love to remind my clients, it's not about breaking free from the addiction itself. It's about the person you become on the journey. It's about reaching your fullest potential, becoming the man you were always meant to be. That, my friend, is what addiction recovery truly is about. All right, reason number 4, progress. 96% of people going through rehab end up relapsing a few years later. Why? Because people are afraid of hearing the truth, and I'm about to give it to you. You're not gonna like hearing it, but addiction recovery is a lifetime process. It doesn't end with just, okay, I'm free and now it's done. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't mean to say that you should maintain the identity of I'm an ex-addict or I'm an addict in recovery. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is that the only way to break free for good in a sustainable way is to actually switch that identity, to become someone someone who cares about progress, who has a mission, a purpose, who's there for service, to always expand his potential, growth. The only way to sustain that freedom is continuous progress. And the best news I have for you is that actually the quality of our lives is perceived through the filter of progress. Stay with me. It's the experience between point A and point B, the gap in between, that creates our happiness. In other words, we experience reality through the contrast between point A and point B. If it's a positive contrast, we call it progress. If it's a negative contrast, we call it regress. Progress equals pleasure, regress equals pain. So what all of this means when we piece the puzzles together, it means that addiction recovery is a guarantee for you. If you want to sustain the freedom, it's a guarantee for unlimited and consistent progress, which means fulfillment, happiness in your life. Because once you taste that freedom, you don't ever want to come back to the addiction. And the only way to not come back to it is to shift your identity to become someone who progresses consistently. Are you guys seeing what's happening here? We got one more reason. Reason number 5, humility. So much suffering comes from placing too much importance on ourselves. In other words, taking ourselves too seriously. Our egos trap us in the illusion that we're separate from one another. So you either gotta be superior to someone or inferior to someone in different situations. That's where most suffering is actually coming from. So here's how I define humility. It is the realization of oneness. It's the understanding that we all share the same human condition. Addiction literally forces us to have no other choice than to observe how ridiculously insane our minds actually are. Sometimes it's so ridiculous that it pushes us to the realization that it's like, wait a minute, that couldn't be me. I am not my mind. And that is the beginning of spiritual awakening. That, my friend, is when a new dimension of consciousness opens up. One where love, joy flows naturally. So now with all of these beautiful reasons, here are 3 steps on how to turn the curse of corn addiction into a blessing. Step number 1, know your outcome. Grab a piece of paper right now, set a timer on your phone, and create a list of the most exciting results you could possibly imagine in the next decade of your life. In the areas of health, wealth, relationships, happiness, well-being, purpose, all of that. What is the most exciting life you could possibly imagine for yourself? I want you to write as if you're a 5-year-old writing a list for Santa. Nothing is off limits. Get excited. That is who you're becoming. That is what's waiting for you when you're going to be doing that work. Step number 2, change the story you have around addiction, around corn, around sexuality. Note down your own 5 reasons why that journey of recovery will get you closer to that dream outcome, that dream life you just described in the earlier step. And then last but not least, step number 3, repeat. Come back to that video whenever you need it. Look at that list of reasons. Update your vision. Get excited for your life. Whenever you feel like you're slipping back into the victim mentality, come back here. Realize you are the hero of your own journey. Remember, pain always turns into purpose with a little bit of inner work. Those who struggle the most in their early years often become the most valuable and successful people on the planet. Whatever you're struggling with right now is only the beginning of an epic story. All right, that's all I got for you, my friends. Hopefully you found this valuable. You got everything you need to solve that problem by yourself on my YouTube channel. But if you want to save some time and do it faster, you can always schedule a discovery call with me. It will be my pleasure to serve you. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful for y'all. I'll see you here tomorrow. Much love. Bye.